Have you ever asked yourself, when you do a tarot reading, where does the information come from? And have you ever stopped to wonder that you can choose, within reason, I guess? I think there's lots of places that the information can come from, and I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to ask the same question. I'm going to reshuffle and pull 3 cards, and I'm going to ask my higher guidance. The knowing field, you might prefer to think of that as the Akashic records, the collective unconscious, anything of that nature. My guides, my spirit guides, and the concept of the divine or the universe. There are other sources for the information as well. I believe we can do empathic readings where we connect to how another person is feeling, but I don't feel comfortable sharing that at this point. And I believe we can also connect to people who have passed and see what information or wisdom they want to share with us. But again, I don't feel really comfortable sharing that in this space at this point. I would say I do a lot of empathic readings. I do tune into how is somebody feeling, or if they're worried about someone or they want to understand their partner or something, I might tune into how is their partner feeling. It is very much connected to the energy between my client and that third person, so it's not intrusive. It's only asking about the energy between the two. But in a normal reading, I think these are probably the areas they're going. Now, when I'm reading for a client, I believe as a North Shaman that I am working with my guides to connect with my client's higher guidance. And I believe that our higher guidance is that wiser part of ourselves that just understands life a little bit better than our ego or our personification of who we are now. So I'm going to ask, the question is very simple. What do I need to be focusing on for June? What do I need to do or focus on in the month of June? And I'm asking my higher guidance, my wiser self. We all have one. Hopefully we can all listen to it. And let's see, is there any resonance? Is there any connection between the cards? So really focusing on my higher guidance. What does my higher guidance want me to focus on for the month of June? The 8 of Wands, that can be travel, but I think it's more about streamlining, that I've got a lot of projects on the way already or underhand already. I've got my 4th book, I've got my tarot correspondence course, my rune correspondence course. I think my higher guidance is saying don't add any more. Certainly the 8 of Pentacles, it can be the Apprentice card, it can be learning, but it can also be about systemizing, keeping things neat and efficient. With the 2 8s there, a real feeling of my higher guidance is saying don't plan to do anything more in June, you've got enough already. And to leave time for me to connect with my higher guidance, my intuition, to take time out from what is going to be work-wise a very busy month to allow my intuition or my higher guidance to speak to me. Card at the bottom of the pack, always worth checking. 7 of Pentacles, a feeling of don't rush into anything new. Allow this month to play out before I start any new projects. So that's my higher guidance. I feel that is a wise reading. I feel it's an appropriate reading. Now let's bring my guides into it. Now I work with the Norse Pantheon. My guides, and if I have time, I would even like to see what my different guides have to say, because they're a mixed bunch. Some can be quite supportive, some can be kind, and some can be quite antagonistic in a good way. So asking my guides, asking in principle, giving space for whichever voice is most appropriate in this reading. What do my guides want me to focus on for the month of June? taking a break, taking a rest. I think we can align that with not taking on anything more. Nice time with family, always good. I'm very blessed. I love my family, so a feeling of allow time, book time in to spend with my family. And the death, to me, death in this case is letting go of anything that's not working. Card at the bottom of the pack is the Four of Pentacles, a card of personal manifestation and personal power. Curious, and I'm reading quite fast because I don't want this to be like a 2-hour video. Curious that we've gone from 2 8s to 2 4s. So both my guides and my higher guidance are talking about the need to be stable and focused. We've gone from, I feel to me, the 10 of Cups and the Ace of Wands, that similar energy of allow space for personal intuition or family time and to be stable and organized. So I would say they are in alignment. The knowing field. This, I think, is now more likely to pick up on anything political that's going on in the UK. We have a general election rapidly approaching. I try not to get involved in politics, but sometimes you can't help it. So this might be picking up on if there's any sort of general stress in the collective unconscious. And we'll see, is it a different focus? What does the knowing field or the collective unconscious suggest that I focus on for the month of June? I would say a similar feel of being self-focused, focused on, I think what's interesting so far is how the minor arcana has been quite important. Focusing, and in the lead up to the general election, I don't want to get bogged down with politics. I mean, I'm going to vote, and my son, we realised, didn't have a national insurance number, and today I made sure that he registered for a national insurance number so he can vote. I'm proactive. I talk to my kids about politics, but the knowing field, I think, is saying focus on what's within your control. The Sun, I think that is the 10 of Cups card. It's the Ace of Wands card. It is about making time to be outside, to enjoy the beautiful sunshine. When summer starts to sort of die down in the late autumn, I'm very often left wishing I'd spent longer in the woods. So very much get outside and have fun. And I think for June, all of the readings are having this idea of just keep everything smooth, keep everything together and stable and focused, make time for you. And then finally, maybe the most complete reading, maybe the least personal, the highest vibration. I don't really like any of these words, but maybe the best perspective, the best, deepest perspective, taking away any minor incidences that might come up. What does the divine, or the universe, if you prefer, how is the divine suggesting I spend the month of June? What should my focus be? We've got a different energy now, endings and beginnings. I guess in some ways the 8s have a feelings of endings because they are coming into the 9s and then into the 10s, but that's a stretch. We do have the 6 of Cups, not a card I often like, which you may know if you follow me on social media, but the 6 of Cups is also about nostalgia and the home and children and just keeping things light and safe and simple and playful. And the Knight of Pentacles is about connecting with the land, I feel. I think very often the Knight of Pentacles is about slowing down and connecting with the land, or attention to detail, being in the moment more in a practical, embodied way. Interestingly enough, this seems to be the most enigmatic reading. And with all of those eights there, and the eights and the fours in the previous reading, perhaps a feeling that from the perspective that is 2 steps back, the universe is reminding me, yes, it's good not to start new projects in June, but remember that some projects are going to start coming to an end. What door do you want to open next? That 9 of Cups being the wish card, and the world being endings and beginnings, successful endings, successful beginnings. So, curiously enough, perhaps the most enigmatic and deep of the readings, and one that I'm certainly going to be journaling on to play around with. And really, the point of doing this reading was to say, if you've got something in your life that is really, and I wouldn't necessarily suggest that you do all the 4 readings, and you could, of course, add other sources should you choose to. I'm not suggesting you not necessarily do them all one back, back, like I have. You might want to do one a day, you might want to take a photograph, you might want to journal, or you might want to set aside a couple of hours to really dive deep, which is something I think I will want to do for this. I want to set aside some time to do it more slowly, to journal, to take photographs. If you've got various decks that you read with, of course you could do this with different decks, and you could say to yourself, which is my most sort of soulful divine deck, which is the deck that I find most personal, which is my most spiritual deck. You could do this with different decks. Something I'm curious to do is to read of my guides. My favourite guide, I think we're allowed favourite guides, is definitely Frey. He's my ally, he's my fun guy, we have a good time together, and for the last 20 odd years, he's been incredibly protective of me. And I'm very, very grateful for that. Whereas Odin, the Osrune down here, he is my kick-ass guide. He's my teacher guide. He's the one that always demands that I just go that little bit further, push the boundaries just a little bit more. This time, I'm just going to do it slightly differently. I'm going to do 3 cards for each, but keep the 3 there. And let's see. Is there a difference between Frey, my more protective guide, and Odin, my more antagonistic guide? Same question. What do I focus on for June? And just, this is playing around. This is having fun. This is being in true page mode and exploring an idea that I'm excited by. It's about taking control. In a relationship spread, I don't like the 6 of Pentacles, but in a personal spread, it's about taking control. Frey is reminding me that I can take control. It's about setting my dreams, setting my wishes. I think that is really important. That's definitely something I want to do. I want more time to content create, more time to focus on my tarot correspondence course, definitely more time to focus on my book. And there you go. Writing a plan. So Frey is saying, take control of your time, dream your dreams, and create a plan. And Page of Pentacles, pay attention to the details. It's quite nice. So what would Odin say? I feel that Frey said what a good friend would say. In fact, I've got quite a few friends. I can think of some friends that would say that. When life's going really well, that's the time when you reflect and leverage the energy that you've got and make sure that you're focusing on the right direction. But let's look at Odin. What would Odin like me to focus on for the month of June? So the 4 of Cups, taking time out to focus on manifesting. He is the god of magic after all, so that would That would sit easy with me. There we go. Take a risk. There's Odin pushing me out of my comfort zone every single time I work with him. And oh, look at that, the Hanged Man. That is the card of Odin. I have a love-hate relationship with the guy. Odin would like me to take more time out for meditation. I do see the Four of Cups as very much a meditating and manifesting card, and to take a risk, take a punt, and to work with him more deeply. But still, the Six of Swords, well, I mean, now I have to be drawn to the fact that I read the Six of Swords as being guided by spirit guides, because this guy with the punt, it's a black pole. I was going to say, my first thoughts coming through are going to be, don't rock the boat, very similar to all the rest, just keep things smooth. And then I looked at it and I thought, no, Odin's saying, let me guide you. Well, we'll see. We'll see what the month of June has to bring. This was just a playful way to enjoy tarot and to choose where you would like the information to come from, to just pause and decide, where would I best like to connect with this reading? What is most helpful?